money isn't going to help you become successful any faster, but having a wealthy mindset will. And I brought today a really special guest to share with us some tips on how to get the worry out of your brain and focus on real strategies that are going to help you bring more wealth into your life. Hi, it's Melanie Benson here, and I'm America's leading small business optimizer. And this weekly series is designed to help you learn really simple strategies and mindset shifts, and sometimes even some performance habits that will help you make your business perform better without having to work so hard in it on a day-to-day basis. And really what this is about is how do we get you out there in a bigger way, doing more of what you love, getting greater results, having a greater impact on the world. Now, the guest that I brought today is someone who's really near and dear to my heart. I'll tell you why in a minute. Let me introduce to you Chellie Campbell. Chellie is the creator of the Financial Stress Reduction Workshops, author of The Wealthy Spirit, Zero to Zillionaire, and her new book, From Worry to Wealth, and has been prominently quoted as a financial expert in national media and more than 50 popular books. But more importantly, Chellie is the person, when I entered into the field of coaching 14 years ago, who taught me something profound. And that was when you pick up the phone with someone that you've met and you make them feel amazing by genuinely being interested in who they are and what they want to accomplish, they will invest a shitload of money in anything you have, because that's what happened when I met Chellie. She was one of the first people I ever met at a networking meeting, and she blew my mind with her follow-up and just really genuine caring and connection with the people that she meets. And I enrolled in her course. It was the very first wealth training, financial training I'd ever taken, and it turned everything around for me. So we've stayed friends all these years, and we bump into each other regularly. And as Chellie brought out this new book, I knew I had to bring her on the show and share her with you. So Chellie, thanks so much for being here, and I'm so excited to have you come on.
Oh, Melanie, I just have chills. It's so awesome, everything you said, and old friends are the greatest friends.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, it's like, I don't know, there's something really special for me when somebody who's gone through my program, they surface and they actually put into action what that you taught them, and you see how it changes their lives, and then you get to see them over and over and over again, and, of course, when there's a friendship that involves, it's even more special, but, I got to imagine, you being here in LA and your local workshops, and you see all of these people who actually have put your work into action, and they get results. It's heartwarming. It's endearing.
That's why I'm never retiring.
I love it.
I can't wait to retire. Well, people retire to do what they love. I'm doing what I love now. Why would I ever retire from people saying, oh, Chellie, you're so wonderful. You helped me so much. What coach is going to give that up, ever?
Exactly. We both have that fortune of we do what we love, and, you've just been doing it for so much longer than I have even. It's nice to hear you say you still love it. Well,
I do.
And, this is a great place to start, which is, how did you get into this world of being a trainer and workshop leader and now a best-selling author? Like, what got you started in all this?
Well, it was probably the fickle finger of fate, actually. I started out in life as a musical comedy actress. Mm-hmm. And I sang and danced for a living, and that's what I thought, that I will be happy for the rest of my life if I could just dance on a TV variety show, for example. And I discovered when I came to Hollywood to be a star, anybody recognize me? Yeah. Okay, one time I gave a speech, and a hand shot up in the back and said, I recognize you. And I said, thanks, Mom. That didn't work out. But what I found was, I did Hello Dolly with Martha Raye, and the lead guy playing Cornelius had been doing 8 shows a week of Hello Dolly for 3 years. And then I got a show at Disneyland doing 5 shows a day, 5 days a week for 9 months. And all my friends were jealous because I was working as an actor. And I tell you, I had never been so bored in my entire life. Mm-hmm. I discovered that what I liked best about acting was rehearsal. Rehearsal, you're working with a small team of creative, intelligent people moving a project forward and trying out all kinds of stuff, and I loved it. And then we get set, and you do the same thing over and over and over and over. Hello. In college, see, you've got to do a new show every couple of weeks every month. A long run was 4 weekends. I just wasn't cut out for it. So in between acting jobs, I took secretarial jobs, and one of them kept promoting me, and suddenly I'm doing office administration and bookkeeping. I said, I don't know anything about bookkeeping. They said, we'll teach you, you'll learn it. I have a friend who says, when I'm about to take a risk, I consider the downside. If it's not death, I do it. And I like that. So I went for it and discovered I loved that too. Really, here's a lesson that I got from it. As long as I'm doing something I love that's fun, that makes me money, and does good, I'm going to be fine. The outward expression of it is just beside the point, because it's really having that heart feeling about it that matters. So I owned a bookkeeping service, and then I saw that none of my clients could really read the financial statements I was giving them. Because do we have financial literacy in this country? No. So it's still to this day not taught in school. So I started consulting with my clients and explaining things and how this was showing the profitability of their company and how they were going to go long term, and this line of business didn't make any profit, ditch that. And 3 people in the same week said, you should teach this. Well, I had taken a lot of seminars and read self-help books and learned a lot. And I thought, yeah, I've got something that's necessary that people need. So, okay, I'll teach it. And my life dramatically changed the minute that I did that. And then I saw how all of those years of acting gave me the performance skills I needed to do this work. And all of the financial background that I had gave me the thing to teach that was so needed in the world. So I've been doing this one class, 2 hours a week for 8 weeks, financial stress reduction workshop. Same workshop, 25 years, never bored a second. Can you imagine?
Okay, so in that 25 years, Chellie, how many do you think you've done? How many of those workshop series?
Oh, gosh, 12 a year for 25 years. I mean,
do the math. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm asking that for a reason. How many entrepreneurs do you see? And, we both have some similar friends in our community, but, how many friends do we have? How many entrepreneurs have we witnessed? They get themselves so messed up because they go in different directions and they're always trying to go get the latest, greatest new thing. And they've spread themselves so thin. There's something really powerful about getting really good at something and then perfecting the delivery, perfecting the marketing, perfecting the lead generation, and just getting really well known for that thing you do.
Yeah, I really believe in that. Mark Victor Hansen said it years ago, grow rich in a niche. Pick that thing that you do, and people never get confused. I would go to networking meetings and I'd see somebody stand up and say, well, I do hair and I also sell insurance, but I really want to be an actor. And I'd go, I can't believe in anything this person is doing, because they're just like trying to see what works instead of coming from a full-throated commitment with your heart. This is what I do. I love doing it. I guarantee results to you or your money back. I mean, that there's just no replacement for that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, I know this is going to be controversial because there's a lot of people that watch the show and that I've worked with who they have a lot of interests. There's a lot of things that they feel pulled in different creative expressions, right? Mm-hmm. But what you've done, and I think is really something to take note of, is that you integrated these different expressions into a way to serve.
Oh, you're giving away my big secret.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Well, let's just dig into that secret right now.
No, anybody who is watching this, because they're a friend of mine, or Melanie, is a great person, what I call a dolphin, and not a shark or a tuna. So dolphins are friendly and happy. So you get to know the big secret. Everything you love, everything that you think is important, everything that you think is wise and helps somebody, put it into your class, but make the class an all-purpose title so you can cover everything in it. Like I saw the wealthy people had no spirit and the spiritual people were all broke. So I said, what's wrong with this picture? I think as spiritual beings having a material existence, we're supposed to master both of them. So I took all the spiritual stuff and put that into the money class. Money is like the metaphor of the class. And if you learn the tools that I teach, you're going to be making more money. And it will filter down that if you also spend your time more wisely, you'll have more fun. And if you make room for your relationships, they'll stay healthy. And if you make time for self-care, your body will stay healthy. So you can have all things under this one umbrella. And that's what motivated me and made it fun for me, because I didn't want to just have people do the grunt work of the money and get too hard about it. I had one guy, I always reminded of this guy. He walked into my class in a suit and tie. I don't do the suit thing. I wear gold tennis shoes everywhere I go. And everybody else was pretty laid back, and he was suit and tie every time. And I finally said to him in one class, I said, "What's with the suit and tie? You got to lighten up. You've got the money piece." He was making lots of money. I said, "You got the money piece nailed. You don't have the life part nailed. So what I want you to do is come casually dressed next week. And your assignment is not to study the money like everybody else is going to do budgets this week. You're not. What you're going to do is figure out ways to take care of yourself and have fun. And I want a list when you come back next week." The next week, he came in a Hawaiian shirt and
Awesome.
flip-flops. I loved it. And he had a big grin on his face. And he did that every class after that. And he just blossomed into life. So it's just amazing, the miracles that people will latch on to one little thing that I say and go, "Oh, that changed my life." Well, they change their lives. I don't do it. I just present some ideas and say, "Try this." I give people permission to try the stuff that they've been longing to do anyway. So just go for it.
Yeah.
Because see, I never bought into this program. When I started my classes was 1990. Tony Robbins was the maven of seminars, you know. He had an infomercial running 24/7 on cable. And he had 1,000 people high-fiving each other and screaming and yelling and motivated. And I went, nope, not my picture. That's not what I want to do. What I believed in was like my acting rehearsals. Small group, intelligent, creative people who have something to share, something to communicate. So all of my classes, which are now teleclasses, audio only, no web. I don't get into technology. They got a workbook. And it's all about listening and applying. So here are the lessons for this week. Go do them. Next week, you'll tell me what happened. So I have to keep the classes really small. It's 10 or fewer. Usually I have 6 to 8 people. So everybody's getting personal attention, and I'm listening all the time, like what's missing for this person? Where's the roadblock? What's the resistance? What do they need to just tweak a little bit, and then they'll soar. So that's how I do it. And I need 60 to 80 people a year. And I make 150 to 200,000 a year. You know, that's really plenty. I'm not one of these people that wants to make billions. What are you going to do with billions? It's just unnecessary. And then you're banking billions that keep it from being active in somebody else's life so that they can have a better life and food and water. So I'm all about that. I just want to do my little picture and then go play poker.
Well, and you know, there's so many places I want to take this right now, but what I want to just take out of what you just shared with us is 2 things. One, you really are committed to having a life in addition to making an impact, and I think that's an important value to be clear on. And that's the second thing I want to bring out of what you just said is you're really clear what you're about, what you want to accomplish, and how you want to accomplish it. And I think that level of clarity is very powerful.
It is, and it didn't come all at once. It sounds all nicely tied up in a bow, but I'm turning 67 this year, okay? So I've had a while to figure it out. But always during my life, I just said, is this working? Am I having fun, making money, and doing good? If the answer is yes, I don't have to fix anything.
That is beautiful. And I think there's a lot that many of us could take away from that. You know, at a certain point, let's get clear when is enough so we can enjoy the life we're creating. And why are you doing it if you're not enjoying it? But, you know, and this brings me to worry.
Yeah.
Because what happens, that's the driver for a lot of people to keep creating more, is they're worried about something, right? They're
Yeah,
worried they're not
it's
going to have enough. They're worried that they're going to, become irrelevant. They're worried that they're not going to fulfill their soul's purpose. There's a lot of worry that's taking people out of the joy that they could
yes.
have. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are about worry and what we could help people with, maybe just one simple thing to help them get out of that worry cycle.
Well, first of all, stop listening to all of the financial talking
Oh,
heads on the TV.
yes.
All of the news is bad. All of it is you're going to run out of money. You're not going to have enough in retirement. You're going to outlive your income. And oh, by the way, this I just saw 2 weeks ago. Social Security, before it runs out of money, you're going to need 90% of it for your medical expenses. Excuse me, please. Listen, follow the money. The financial planners of the universe need you to invest your money with them because that's how they make a living. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you figure out a business or a hobby or something to keep some money flowing in that you generate, you never have to retire and live off some big pool of money that you saved. Now, one of the truths is it will take 1.25 million in the bank or investments to pay you enough money to live for 30 years in retirement. Only 8% of America can actually save that kind of money.
Yes.
Now, retirement is not a goal. Retirement is a wasteland. I read a study that said the average retiree watches 49 hours of television a week.
Wow.
Oh, baby. So they're watching other people have a life instead of having a life themselves.
Or watching the news.
Yeah, or watching the news. That'll depress you. Okay, so now we are sitting in our present and we're visualizing our future from fear. There's only two places you can go. You're either going to have a fear visualization or a faith visualization that it's going to be great. So it's up to us individually. The law of attraction does work. It's woo-woo, it's new agey. I'm sorry, I'm a very practical girl. My dad was an aerospace scientist. But of course, I read science fiction when I was growing up. So I kind of expanded my brain to incorporate a whole lot of things that maybe the average person doesn't. I thought Star Wars and Star Trek was true. So that's just me. So,
I wanted it to be true.
yes. Well, look at how many things have come out of science fiction. You remember they always had phasers to communicate?
Yeah.
Or phasers were the stun things, so
Right.
the communication
They had their
devices.
little telecoms, yeah.
Yeah, that's cell phones now. We have them. Science
Yes,
fiction
true.
has been responsible for all kinds of incredible things that we take for granted now. Technology is fabulous. But going back to, you're either going to visualize from a faith place or a fear place. I read a quote, I love this. A pessimist builds dungeons in the air instead of castles. It's your
Ooh.
choice.
Yeah.
So if the law of attraction is true, just say if it were true and you spend all of your time visualizing a negative outcome, guess what you're attracting? But if you spend a lot of your time visualizing positive outcomes, guess what you're attracting? And it's never too late. I read of a man called Harry Bernstein who tried to get a book published all his life. And finally it was found by a publisher on the slush pile when he was 96 years old, and the publisher published it. And then he published 3 more books before he died at 101. And his quote on his deathbed was, "The 90s were the most productive years of my life." It's not too late, but a lot of people would like you to believe it's too late. So look for why they would say that and what they have to gain from that picture. I have a bone to pick with Susie Orman because she did that in O Magazine in a column. Some gal who was 48 wrote in and said she had always wanted to have her own cake decorating business, and she had 9 months of expenses saved, and would it be okay for her to do it? And Susie says, If you were 22, I'd tell you to go ahead. But the 40s and 50s are the most important times for you to be depositing to your 401k. Like, give up your life, and it's all about 401ks, even if you hate your job. I have no patience with that. When it was posted on Facebook, all of these people chimed in, well, I'm 76 and I'm starting my third business, so I guess there's no hope for me.
Well, and it's really, there's a values differential there.
Yeah.
And so what I'm really clear about is the choices you make around money and your career are completely forwarding whatever your primary values are, whether you're conscious of them or not, right? Because many people are not conscious of the values they're really driving forward because they're so unconscious about their choices. They're just on autopilot.
Yeah, and they think they have to do this and they have to do that, and they're trying to measure up and be all things to all people. I need 60 to 80 people a year. I don't have to be all things to all people. So that gave me permission to wear my gold tennis shoes everywhere, and people will say, well, what do you do when there's a black tie event? I said, well, I have gold tennis shoes with rhinestones on them. But, I just am going to live the way I live, and if you don't like it, goodbye. It's really okay.
So what I'm hearing you say is that part of the reason why people worry is they're filling themselves and they're surrounding themselves with information that maybe isn't the right information, but it's certainly going to cause stress. So, all right, rule number one, stop immersing yourself in all this, mindless, just noise that's there for self-fulfilling needs. But let's get beyond the noise, the abrasive information out there and how it does damage to us. Let's say someone is really practical and they are, really trying to do the right things, but that worry, Chellie, just keeps coming up for them. They're like, I'm trying to do it all right. I'm following the law of attraction and I just keep falling into this worry cycle. What's something that they could latch onto and try to release some of that worry?
Well, the first book I wrote was The Wealthy Spirit, which was a page a day for every day of the year with a thought and a story. And I give a positive affirmation on every day. And I'm blogging that every day now. So you can just pick up some of those affirmations. If anybody wants to email me, they can email me. I'll send them my personal list of affirmations. You must make room in your day for saying the positive thing, because your brain is doing 60,000 thoughts a day.
Right.
And if most of it's negative and worry, you're recreating that every day. So you want to, on purpose, make yourself start saying things like, people love to give me money. And all my clients praise me and pay me. Isn't that all you want from them? Oh, Chellie, you're wonderful, and here's some money. Thank you. So you've got to make room for that. And then you've got to plug into your calendar things you really look forward to. Little kids I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait until Saturday of the baseball game. I can hardly wait until Christmas. I can hardly wait till school's out. I can hardly wait till I'm 6th grade. And they have so much creative energy all the time. And adults I can hardly stand it.
I can't wait for Saturday, so I don't have to work.
I can hardly stand how much traffic there is on the freeway. I can hardly stand how Christmas has gotten so commercial. Well, don't let it be so commercial for you. Turn off the commercials and don't listen to people downgrade it. Get back to the true value and the heart of it. This is a tip I would give everybody. Create your life. Take your calendar and plug in all the things that really make your heart sing and plug it all over the calendar. Now fit your work into what's left.
Good. I like it. I love just really practical, like just go do this.
Yeah.
Chellie, I want to just take a deeper step into the business model you've created, because a lot of the reasons why people watch this show is they're getting ideas. Like, all right, well, what have other successful people done? And, people that have a model that I can relate to. But I think one of the things that's really easy to do is we set these people up on a pedestal and like, oh my God, they have this great business, but we don't know what went into creating it.
Right.
you spent 25 years getting your business to where it's at. Has there been a really significant like learning opportunity or maybe a breakdown challenge thing that came up for you that really was pivotal in how you decided to do your business?
Well, there's been all kinds of breakdowns, that's for sure. Anybody who's read any of my books knows I filed bankruptcy, lost my home to foreclosure, had a business failure of magnificent proportions. And I realized after having gone through all that, for a while I kept it secret. I don't want to say anything because I'm teaching financial stress reduction, and I'm the most financially stressed person in the room. Okay, figure that one. But I think I had to go there in order to be of real help to people who go there. That nobody can look at me and say, well, you were born with a silver spoon. You've never had to really worry about money. I really had to worry about money as worse as anybody. So when I finally shared in class, it was a young couple, and they were talking about whether they should file bankruptcy or not because their business was not making any money. And I made a suggestion, and the guy turns around and he says, how would you know? You've never encountered a problem like this. And I knew in that moment I had to tell the truth. And I said, well, actually, I filed bankruptcy and lost my home to foreclosure 6 months ago. And the whole room went, oh, like that. And I said, well, let me explain what happened. You know, I had built this bookkeeping service, but I was a partner with two people who had started and owned the majority portion. And they sold it to me right before the biggest client we had left with 2 weeks notice. And I was totally under the gun. I was on the hook for all the loans, all the equipment, all the salaries. And I borrowed a lot of money to try and save it, but I couldn't get that client back or one like it. So I just limped along, and then finally I couldn't make the payments on my debt. And, you know, credit cards are just inexorable. The bank wants their money, and they're going to charge 30% interest. I go, you can charge whatever you want. I can't pay you. So when I finally declared it, but in that moment when I told people, at the end of class, everybody came up and hugged me and said, thank you for sharing that. You make me feel better. And some people who had filed bankruptcy themselves said, you just gave me permission to not be in shame over that still. Mm-hmm. And that's when I knew why I went through it. I had to learn how to crawl out of a hole like that, to start over, rebuilding your credit. And, you know, let me just tell you, once you file bankruptcy, all that goes away, and you start rebuilding your credit from that day. And it gets better and better. Now you've got to, you know, watch your P's and Q's and make sure you have a budget that works. And I could do all of that. And it was right after that, I had been doing the bookkeeping service and the workshops on the side. But people in my classes started saying, well, now, what are you doing with that bookkeeping service? These classes are what you love. And it was so clear to me that was true. But it was scary, you know, to give up the regular monthly income of the bookkeeping service and just go full time in the workshops where you got to get new people all the time. I really didn't know if I could do it or not. But I knew I had to try. I had to. I tried, you know, the bookkeeping service just was so not going well because I wasn't giving it any time and love. So I sold it to an accountant and I went full time in the workshop business. And this is where I learned. Here's the number one thing, if you're in business, that you must do. I know we're so technical now, and we've got email lists up the yin yang, although people are not reading so much email anymore because there's too much of it. And then there's all this social media and people getting dragged out and burned out and spend too many hours on social media. Let me tell you what really works. Phone calls.
Oh, I was so hoping you would talk about this. I learned so much about this from you. Okay, good. I'm so glad you're going here.
This is easy. Anybody can do it. I'm sitting in my office. I pay some money to go to networking meetings. I get a stack of business cards, you know, and then I call them. And I say, it's not cold calling, it's gold calling. I have a gold phone now. Is that
I
pretty?
love it. I always had this visual of Chellie and the gold phone. That's how I
Well,
always see
this
it.
is my other phone. You see it has a dollar sign on
It's
it, and
great.
my fingernails are gold. See, I do the whole gold thing, you know. But I also have a sign. I don't know if you can read that.
Can't
It
read it,
says,
but tell me what it says.
somebody needs your help.
Yeah.
That's what makes you call. You don't have to call everybody you meet. Call the people that you had a funny relationship with, that they kind of smiled at you and leaned forward and liked what you had to say and you liked them. You know, that liking happens within the first minute. So call those people, and call not to sell them something, but call to make a friend. So you call and you just ask questions. Hi, how are you? What do you do? How long have you done that? What did you do before? Have you always wanted to do this? How long have you been in Los Angeles? Where did you come from? What made you move here? It's first date questions. It's so easy. Get good at questions, you'll have the world at your feet. So that's the whole model. How I built this business was just go to networking groups. I would go to 8 to 12 networking meetings a month. That's 2 or 3 a week. And I get all of these business cards and I call them up. Now, it was real confronting to me because that wasn't an easy thing. But what I noticed was that I went to all these networking meetings and I wasn't getting any calls. I couldn't wait for the phone to ring and wait for a referral. I had a workshop starting in 3 weeks. I needed people in it. I needed to be in action. So I started calling around just to see if other people were getting calls. And they said, no, nobody called me either. So I went, aha, I'll be the person that calls everybody. So the next time I go to the meeting, all of these people are saying, hi, Chellie, thanks for calling me. It was so great to get to know you. And now I have buddies. And some of those people take the class. And then when it's time to give a testimonial at the networking group, and they go, oh, Chellie's class is fabulous. So 2 people say that, and all of the new people who don't know me yet want to come over and get to know me. It's really simple. But what's hard, what you have to get is outside yourself and be totally at service with another person. You have to get to like other people. And it's not about you. Get yourself out of there. You are never selling you. I'm not even selling a workshop. I am selling the results people achieve in the workshop. And if you don't achieve results, I give you a complete refund of everything after you've taken the class. You know, who's taking the risk here, you or me?
That's great. I'm so glad you covered the phone piece too, Chellie, because that was one of the pivotal things for me. Because I was a pretty shy person. That was not an easy thing for me to do, but you made it so simple. And here's why I know this works. And if you are in a place where you are worried, or you're not generating the cash flow you want, or maybe even looking for that perfect lead generation strategy, I really recommend you do this, because here's why it works. Chellie made me feel good just simply by wanting to get to know me. And I wanted whatever it was she was doing because I felt good when I was talking to her. I felt important. I felt like I wanted more, whatever this woman was doing, because it was contagious. And I think that's what we're really trying to create here for you, is a way to get out of your own way so that you can start to serve the people and generate the cash flow and have a better life. You know, it really is possible. So, Chellie, I want to wrap up with just having you share, like, maybe a mantra or one of your favorite quotes that you've always turned to when maybe you need a little boost of inspiration or you need to get that confidence level up.
Oh, one of my favorite quotes that always comes up for me is William Faulkner. He said, I write only when I'm inspired. Fortunately, I'm inspired every morning at 9 o'clock.
That's awesome.
And to me, that's it. Because creative people can go, oh, well, I got to wait for the inspiration to strike. No, you make the inspiration strike. You go sit at the desk and you start typing. You start doing morning pages. You start just free floating ideas, whatever it is. Pick up the phone and call the first person whose card is on your desk. Make a new friend. That's where the energy starts, and the energy is flowing. And I can't tell you how often it happens. I call a bunch of people. Nobody actually enrolls, but I've made a whole bunch of friends, and I sit back and I go, that was a good day. I sent a lot of ships out. And somebody that I don't know calls at 5 o'clock at the last minute and says, "Hi, you don't know me, but a friend's told me about your book and I've been reading it and I've been getting your emails for 3 years and I want to take your class now."
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the energy. So you keep putting the energy out, it's going to come back. You have to trust. It's not an exact science. Now you have to know probability theory.
Yeah.
It's like you make your profit in the difference between the wins and the losses. Getting successful doesn't mean you're not going to have losses. You always will, but you'll have fewer of them and they won't be as big. And you'll have more wins and they'll be bigger. And so your profit just keeps increasing.
Well said. I love that. Thank you. So let's remind everybody where they can find you. I mean, I know you have all your books on your website and you've got ways to contact you there. Let's give them the best website to connect with you.
I only have one website. It's Chellie.com. Chellie is spelled Chellie. And if you forget, you can Google The Wealthy Spirit or Zero to Zillionaire or From Worry to Wealthy, my new book for women especially. Mm-hmm. And that you'll find me.
And I highly recommend Chellie's books. They're amazing. I've picked them up over the years as she's put each one of them out. I still study what she teaches and stay tuned in to Chellie. And so it's Chellie.com. It's right here on the screen as well. And if you have an opportunity to take her workshop, it is life transforming. And it will give you insights and give you tools that will help you be able to get out of these old patterns that are holding you back and really become astute with your finances, which is what I needed at the time that I went through that course. It really was one of the most powerful trainings that I was able to take as a new entrepreneur. But it works for anybody at any stage of their business. So, Chellie, thanks so much for coming on today. And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. Was there an aha moment, something that you're going to put into action? Just go down into the comments below. And if you're catching us on one of the radio stations like iTunes or Stitcher Radio, you can head over to the blog at melaniebensonstrick.com. Look for the episode with Chellie Campbell and just share an aha or an insight there. There's all kinds of great resources for you to find on the site as well. So thanks, Chellie. And thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you again next week.